This is Fred Beck from Fred Fighting. I'm joined over Zoom by Joe Fournier. It's been about 2.5, 3 months since I last saw you.
Yeah,
It was May. We last caught up. You been all right, Joe?
I've been good. I've been good. Took the boat to the Amalfi around Italy, and then went to Ibiza, Mykonos. Now back to Italy and Sardinia, where I got my place Fournier, and I'll be here another week or two, and then probably get back to work.
Back to work as being boxing training or just business?
Both. I always do both at the same time. That keeps me very level-headed and accurate. So I like a bit of both.
Right, okay. What does a day consist of? Normal work for you back in Miami?
Um, I wake up early. I go to the boxing gym. Probably hit the mitts a little bit, do a little run, bit of shadow, just generally ticking over, hit the bag. And then a couple of times a week I'll spar, just when I'm just kind of ticking over, just for a bit of fun, for a bit of banter. And then I go back, head to the beach, my mobile office, and then check in with all my places, all my staff, then a bit of late lunch, and then probably go do a little strength and conditioning workout in the normal gym, and then go and have a little party.
Quite a day, quite a busy day. Sounds pretty nice. What have you been up to in Italy though? You gone to Rome and seen the sights, or just been chilling out?
No, I'm in Sardinia. I got Bombonier here, and I was at my house in Mykonos for a month and a half, chilling. I got Bombonier in Mykonos too, so it's just been yeah, more relaxing really, just taking it easy, and uh, and getting ready to kind of come back and cause some havoc.
How's life changed for you since the KSI fight? What's different?
Nothing really. Just got more fans, more people. Like a lot of, been a crazy amount of people that saw it as like he cheated, or whatever he did wrong, and they couldn't believe what the ref couldn't see on the night. You know what I mean? But so I get a lot of people kind of fucking hell. That was such. They tried to rob you. I'm glad you stood up for yourself and got it overturned and all that kind of stuff. Um, and I get like a lot more fans from it like that. Like even now, I was in the gym here in Sardinia yesterday, and some guys like, mate, English guy, fucking hell. He's like, I can't believe that KSI, that blah blah blah, done that to you. He's like, that's like straight cheating. And he's like, I'm so glad it got overturned. He's like, I used to be his fan, now I'm your fan, and it's like I won a lot of fans over, I guess, because they saw it as like kind of a big controversial moment in crossover boxing, isn't it?
Yeah, I guess
The fact that he wouldn't rematch just made it, well, added for me, just shows that he didn't want no more. That's why he done it. Do you know what I mean?
were there any talks for a rematch? Were there any contracts, negotiations, anything like
Well,
that?
let's put it like this: if it was the other way around, and I had dropped it with an elbow, there'd been a rematch. We'd be fighting now in October. But the fact that they swerved it and they used the excuse, oh, no one wanted to see it or whatever. But you can say that about anything. Like, is there a huge buzz around Tommy Fury and KSI any more than there was about me and KSI? Not really. It's the same, if less, I feel like there's less of a buzz about the fight coming up in October. And same like, who would you rather see, Logan Paul, Dylan Dennis, or Logan Paul, Joe Fournier? Do you know what I mean? Like, at least one of them has got to avenge their brand, because as it stands right now, I'm the only guy he ain't managed to beat. He ain't managed to beat me, and he didn't want to correct the wrong. You know what I mean? And neither did Logan. Logan chose Dylan Dennis. Like how's that interesting? That fight, it's only
Logan was meant to
interesting
fight
because
Dylan a
Logan
while
Paul's
back.
fighting.
Yeah, Logan was
What?
meant to fight Dylan a while back, and then did it. Logan got injured. I think it was meant for the January card where KSI fought the Call of Duty World Champion, used to call him, face Temper. I do like Temper,
Yeah.
those guys. And Logan had an
I,
injury.
I, I'm sure he's a nice guy. You got to remember something, Fred. I don't have
No, Joe,
anything. The
that
guy
Call of
could.
Duty, that World Champion of Call of Duty, that went viral everywhere. Do you know that, right? Over TikTok,
No, no
Twitter.
idea.
That's like your line. Everyone knows you now because of that line, basically.
People always call me the goat. They say, when is the goat coming back?
You know what stands for
So,
the GOAT, though?
greatest of all time.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I get the best memes. They're the best memes I get, is the goat memes, where they were like, Joe Fournier murders his neighbor. When the police came, they send the neighbor to jail. Because he used to go like stupid shit like that. It's been cracking me up. But no, like I was shocked that like they both go with different opponents and then don't run it back. And if people saying, "Oh yeah, but he was winning the first round," it's like, there's football teams come out in the first 10 minutes, the other team don't touch the ball, and then they lose 5-0. It's like it's a 6 round fight, not a 3 minute fight. So yeah, I'm just surprised that they fully swerved any type of rematch, and then they offered me to be the alternate for Logan Paul. Now I told him to f off. Like, are you mad? Alternate for Dylan Dennis? Do me a favor. I was already the alternate for Dylan Dennis, and then they put the Call of Duty World Champion instead of me. Maybe I got to start playing a new video game, Candy Crush World Champion, and then maybe they'll put me in.
Candy Crush World Champion. And as well, I remember you on that Twitter space a while back, a few months ago,
Yeah.
going back and forth with Dylan Dennis, which was extremely entertaining. And now he's fighting Logan. So there was no chance, or there's no talk of a rematch of KSI whatsoever now. Is that off the cards?
I'm down. I want to do it. I think it's a fight that needs to happen. I'm the only guy he's never managed to beat. Did you get what I'm trying to say? So he needs to. Let's see who wins. Like I'm down. I'm super motivated for that fight, and I just think that they got away with it. I think that for me, I said this from the beginning. I said that, and I think Jake Paul said it as well. He's like, he's been boxing for how long? Sparred how many rounds? Done everything. He's like, he's never hit anyone with an elbow by accident ever. From a novice, from a YouTuber, from a pro boxer now, he never hit. Like neither have I. Like it's nearly impossible to hit anyone like that unless you train for that. And it's just such a suspect. I'm adamant that it was on purpose. And let's run it back. Because if I had elbowed him, well, number one, the ref would have disqualified me there and then. But let's say he didn't, it would be a rematch. It's in the contract, actually. There should be a rematch.
Mm.
But so yeah. So in the case of a no contest, it's very clear in the contract where it says that we should have a rematch. But if he don't want a rematch for whatever reason, well, why did Logan pick not fight me?
Well, so were you meant to fight Logan Paul? Was that offered to you?
No, but like they're partners. If you're like, listen, if me and you are business partners, and a guy knocks you out, or
I'm very, very rich. And me and your business partners, I'm doing very well. I like the sound of that.
yeah. No, if we're in it together and then you don't want the fight, but everyone's calling for the fight to happen because it was, cheated, then Logan's got to step in for KSI, doesn't he? He's got to man up. But then they chose Dylan Dennis and called me up and said, "Oh, will you be the alternate?" No, I fucking won't be the alternate. I've got better shit to do than to sit around until Dylan Dennis pulls out for the 15th time in his career.
I think there's a lot of contemplating where Dylan will pull out. Or I reckon he'll fight, but who knows? They got the press conference in a few weeks, so we'll see how that goes down. But have you been offered any other fights for Misfits apart from that?
They like they like mentioned Tyron Woodley, which I don't have any issue fighting. Because at the end of the day, you know, I think he was a good UFC world champion. He's achieved a lot in his career. I've got nothing but respect for the guy. So it's not a fight I would say no to. But that's the thing, is like they want me to like take 3 months out of my life and train and fight these guys that everyone else is trying to avoid. They're trying to put me in with a harder fight without even giving me the respect of the rematch. But then they don't want to they make up all these excuses of like, why, and oh, can you do it this fight? It's like, dude, you want me to fight a headline fight? You want me to make you millions and millions and millions? So you just got to give me a realistic offer. Do you know what I mean?
Hmm.
Like you got to go. Here's the money. This is the fight. This is the date. Like you got to do it correctly. But they just throw things out there. Oh, would you? Maybe if it's like no, you got to come at me in a different way if you want me to fight Tyron Woodley. But I'd happily fight Tyron Woodley. I'd happily fight Nate Diaz. Obviously, the fight I'd love is Jake Paul. Because we had a good bit of banter on his podcast and it was cool. And he said, look, if you beat KSI, we'll run it. But that fight never, there was no contest. So there wasn't a winner or a loser there. So we could still do that, me and Jake, somewhere cool, maybe in Saudi Arabia again, something fun, something unique, right?
Hmm.
Because like for me, fighting Tyrone is exciting as fighting Jake. Obviously not. If you were me, you'd rather fight Jake or Logan or KSI rematch. They're really good fights, you know. or like a mad one, like Salt Puppy in Philippines.
Yeah, that'd be
You
cool.
know, like
That'd be really
something
cool.
cool. Like I want to do iconic shit. I just don't want to go and run like, there's that dude, the funny one, the little guy, Anthony Taylor. He's always like biting, calling me out, and I'm just like, look, go like you're doing good in the crossover boxing. Yeah, so fair play to him. He's doing good, and he's entertaining and all that. But he's not respected as a headliner at the moment. Doesn't mean he won't be, but he means he's on his way. He's rebuilding his career from his MMA career into a boxing one, and he's doing a good job. He had a few losses early on, maybe a bit of more than he can chew. If he ever gets to the point where he is a headliner that is gonna, sell out an arena and let's go and do something exciting, and maybe fight in Miami or something crazy, a year down the line, I'd fight him, no problem. It's not like I don't. It's just, does anyone really care for me to fight him? No, not really. You know what I mean? They'd rather see him fight Tyron Woodley, for example, because they're both guys that have lost a few. They should fight each other and see who's the better out of them. And similar styles, kind of.
Hmm. You
So
need a story. You need a storyline, Joe. That's what you need.
the storyline.
Yeah. Gonna build up the fight. It can't be so I feel like it can't be for you. It can't be someone that's random you haven't really spoken to before. But have some sort of interaction with someone before you do fight them.
Well, the really realistically, it's like it'd have to be someone like either a legend. So you look at like Anderson Silva, Nate Diaz, one of those guys that was good that can fight still. Like for Nate to go all them rounds with Jake when Nate really ain't ever had a professional boxing fight in his life just shows that if he trained a bit longer, I could have been a bit more interested. He didn't look shook. Even when he went down, he went up and was just disappointed with himself. So he's a decent boxer. You see, like Anderson Silva as well, like he properly pressured Jake. That fight could have gone either way. So that'd be a cool fight to do at a later date. But yeah, that or either those guys or the main Misfits guys, which is Logan or KSI. And if Jake doesn't have an opponent, yeah, I've always said I've been asking for that fight since 2018.
Yeah, I remember you chasing it back. Yeah, it was ages ago, wasn't it? Back in the Triller days. What about I know this is a smaller name.
And he's much better. Like back then, I would have knocked him out in a round. Now he's pretty good. So now it's like fucking hell, all right. But I'll still stick to my word and fight him because I still think I'd win. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Like for real win. And then we'll have a proper scrap. It's not going to be. We'll put it because he's aggressive. Much more aggressive than KSI or Jake.
I know this person's a bit smaller name. They won on the Jake Paul card. It's Nate Diaz's teammate, Chris Avila. Because he's very well, I guess he beat Paul Bamber on Misfits, and he also just beat Jeremy Stevens, former UFC fighter, on the Jake Paul card. That not be a good fight, you versus Chris. He's got quite a good boxing record now. Or it's just not
But
big enough.
that's the thing is like I don't I don't know like you.
Oh.
I don't know who he is. So it's like not in a bad way, but
Hmm.
like I don't know what his I don't know him.
Yeah,
So
that's fair.
so he might be a good boxer, but there's loads of good boxers, But
Well, he's a
I've got
former
to be
MMA
excited to
fighter.
like stop my job and start training and start sparring. Remember, I'm 40 years old. I got better shit to do sometimes. So it's like for me to do it, it's got to be an exciting event. Otherwise, that was the thing about being an alternate. Like most people in the Misfits, if you said you're going to be an alternate for Logan, it'd be like their dream come true. I said, fuck off straight away. Like, don't even bother me with that shit. Because I've got better things to do than just to wait around hoping someone pulls out and then you still might not get the fight like they did me wrong the original time with KSI with the Call of Duty World Champion. They stuck him in. And that, and you know what their excuse was last time is, well, we trained for a southpaw. It's the same fucking opponent. Why are you asking me? It's just because I'm a big brand that sells fights, yeah? And they know that because they obviously saw how the last one sold and the algorithms that they have, the channels. And they're like, shit, if we put Joe in there, that's just another great story. I get the PRs, but what's in it for me? Just to sell your fight that I'm not going to fight in the end. So I was a bit like, nah, you want me to fight Logan? Let's plan now. Look, if Logan beats Dylan Dennis all day long, I don't even need to watch that fight. So if he does fight him, let's plan now. The next one, me and Logan, let's do it in the States. Let's
In
lock it
Miami.
in. Miami, Vegas, New York, Ohio.
Hmm.
It don't make no difference to me. I'll fight him anywhere. Mexico City.
Are you gonna be there though, Joe? Are you coming to the show in October in
Nah,
Manchester? No.
nah, nah, nah. I ain't. I don't. I mean, I only came to London just for that for one time. I don't really come to London anymore. London is like changed a lot from when I grew up there. You know,
Yeah. Mm.
it's not as. I don't know. I used to think it was like obviously I built nightclubs there. It was the funnest city in the world at one point. Now it's kind of when I was there after the fight, I stayed around for a little bit, see friends and family and stuff, and it was a bit dry.
Yeah.
London needs like some energy.
When you travel a little bit, you do find a lot of cooler places. London ain't my favorite city, but how does KSI Tommy Fury go, do you reckon? You'll be watching on TV, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, just watching out of interest, I think that Tommy beats KSI. I think he beats him. Yeah, convinced. I don't know if he drops him or doesn't drop him, but what I realized in the second round when I started landing, KSI hated it. He doesn't like getting hit, and he has very, very, very basic defense. And Tommy is a bit more advanced from a boxing standpoint. And that's why I think KSI threw the elbow, because when I started landing, he's like, this guy's heavy handed as fuck. And they planned that. They were like, listen, if he gets a little heavy, throw the elbow. And that's what went down. But because he hit me with some clean, big overhand, looping right hands that have dropped other guys. With me, nothing. So I think when he's going to come up against Tommy, I think he's going to struggle technically. And I think that, I don't know if he knocks him out or doesn't knock him out, but it's going to be a handful for KSI.
So do you think KSI will have much of a chance in that fight, you saying? Or you think it more of a Tommy Fury domination?
I think it'll be a Tommy Fury domination.
Oh, really? Well,
But by the way, not disrespecting KSI. Like, I respect him. We fought. You know what I mean? He got a man up to get a ring. I think it's just like I think Tommy Fury looked decent against Jake. You know what I mean? He looked like he knows what he's doing, doesn't he? Like I'd like to fight Tommy. Like they're the guys I want to be fighting. So, but I think maybe he's a bit off a bit more than he can chew. And at the end of the day, it's good riddance to you, KSI, because you'd have taken a rematch.
all right, all right. There's one last thing before I do. There you go. I was at Jake Paul's fight when he fought Nate Diaz about nearly a week ago. Had you watched it at all? Did you see any clips from that? Because a lot.
I saw clips of
I was speaking to a few people about that one. I want to get thoughts on it. It was great in the arena. I was watching it live, but on TV it wasn't a great showing. Obviously, you watching it on TV. What are your thoughts on it?
I thought Jake looked like a polished fighter. I have a lot of familiarities with Nate Diaz's sparring and boxing and stuff. And he's a hard guy to get out of there, and he's a very awkward, tough guy. And he's going to make any fight look like that. Jake did exceptionally well to get the knockdown, which is good, and to kind of hurt him early on and show patience. And listen, 8 rounds is 8 rounds. He did a good job to get there. And I think he improved a lot, better feints. His jab got better after he learned that the hard way against Tommy, which was still a close fight, but, Tommy won comfortably. And I think that I thought it was a good show. And I think he's well on his way to, he's starting to look like a pro now. Does that make sense? He's kind of left that YouTube, thing behind. And I think he's starting to look like a professional boxer, and he is kind of moving the needle, isn't he? Like he is starting to genuinely sell fights, and he's starting to genuinely pick the right opponents. And I don't know why people kind of don't like him. I know why people don't like him, because he's a bit cocky and he's cocksure and whatever else. But he's now been around a little while, and he's definitely trying his best to be the best he can be. So now it's getting to the point where you're starting to be a bit haters, isn't it? Because he did fight a boxer, and he didn't win, but he still came back, and he's still trying. And I'm sure there'll come a time where he will fight a boxer when he feels he can beat him. But no one wants to do anything you're going to lose. You want to really believe in yourself, you can win. So I think that all those fights for me, like Jake, Logan, Tommy, KSI rematch, they're, Anderson Silva, Nate Diaz, they're all exciting, real fights for me that I'd get up for and train hard for and want to do it. Especially KSI rematch more than ever, or a Logan fight, because they're partners now, and I really want to smash one of them, because they kind of, I feel like they pulled the wool over my eyes a little bit in that fight. For many reasons, not just the fight, but the way things they did it leading up to the fight, things in the contract, all the messing around, leading up to it. So now I know their game. it'll be much more fun for me to fight them and catch them out. I know they don't always play by the rules, you know what I mean now. So now I'm expecting it.
Well, I think for you for the KSI fight, I think the thing that the main thing people forget is that it did 350,000 pay-per-view buys. That's a hell of a
Yeah,
lot of pay-per-view buys as well.
yeah.
I think a lot talking to the media on Fight Week, I was saying to lots of people, how many buys do you reckon it'll do? People were saying kind of 150, 200. And I was like, I reckon it can do it over 300. And I was like, oh, I don't know about that. And then smashed it, 350,000. I mean,
And also the
KSI is a
gate
massive
was
sell, don't get me wrong, but you do need a dance partner to hype it up even more, and you proved that very well.
there was the craziest hype over that fight. The gate at Wembley. Did you? When I went to the phase, I saw empty seats when I went to the phase KSI fight. Yeah, and I saw what the tickets were going because when people knew I was coming, oh, I'm gonna get a ticket, come meet you there. The tickets were half the price of what our fight was. Do you know what I mean? Like we sold it out for double the amount of money that arena, and we did 350. Listen, Spencer Crawford, yeah, the two biggest legends pound for pound did 450,000 buys. I hadn't fought in 2 years and I just come back with 350,000 buys. So when KSI sits back there and he goes, no one has any interest in seeing it, that's just his way of like saying, I ain't got any bottles to do the fight again. You know what I mean? It was like, how would you pick Dylan Dennis over me when I smashed it? Yeah, Logan, when I smashed the pay-per-view buys with on the last one. And how would you pick Dylan Dennis? When was the last time Dylan Dennis did any pay-per-view?
Well, he hasn't
Do you see
fought.
what I'm
That's an issue. He ain't fought. You have
like?
to
How do you
fight
even know?
something.
Like he knows how to like punch. No one's seen him do anything in years. So it's like he ain't a draw, but you choose him because once again they know that they know that how it transpired. They know my strategy was because when does KSI do all the rounds? Like let's look at his last two fights before that. Think of us as sitting down in Miami as a coaching team. We're like, he can't go past 2 rounds because he busts his nut in the first round. And then he hopes to get you out of there. And if he doesn't, what happens? What happens round 3, round 4, round 5, round 6? So we were like, let me just let him throw everything he wants. And as soon as I took the big right hand in the first round, it was just like, oh, that's his fresh power. That's as dangerous as he gets. Like when you see a guy hit me flush in the first round with a right hand, and I walk through him and I'm like, is that it? Because everyone talked about this power that he has, this crazy power. And they realized, oh shit, he's just reeling us in. He was blowing. Go watch the fight again. End of the first round, his mouth goes open. So that was our strategy, was to like reel him into the third, fourth, fifth, deep waters. So now they know that. They're like, fuck, he had our number. So they threw the elbow, kind of deaded the fight, right? The referee couldn't see it, even though he was 1 foot away. They turned the rule into a no contest, but then crickets. But hold on, why crickets? We just did 350,000 pay-per-view buys. It's because shit, Joe was way better than we thought he was going to be. And it looks on TV like we killed him in the first round, so we just use that as an excuse. But in reality, I ain't going anywhere. I'm still undefeated. No one can beat me still. And your partner, your boss, I call him his boss because he is really the boss of crime, Logan, he went with Dylan Dennis. He's unproven. What does that tell you? It tells you that they're afraid and they don't want the smoke. So, and I wouldn't be surprised if Jake calls me and is like, you know what? They're going to bottle it, but let's do it. I would not be surprised if I get that phone call from Jake Paul.
You have
You
his
heard
number.
it here first. What?
He has your number.
He has my number, yeah. Nikita has my number. That's the most important. The guy who's going to send the contract.
The cliche is in the contract. Awesome. It's good to catch up with you, Joe. When do you think I'll see you next? Do you think you're going to come to any events or just want to?
I don't think I'll be in the UK this year again. But maybe if we get a big fight going on. Fred will be the first on the interview list, my friend.
Thank you very
Always
much.
there to support you, legend. Keep smashing it. Keep inspiring the others. And guys, remember, if you're hating on other people, it's less time you're focusing on yourself. So be positive, show love, and don't bully. Don't be internet trolls.
Which you get a lot of nowadays on the requests.
Oh yeah, they're always like, you just whatever. But I'm too busy, I'm too busy to even focus on that. They're like saying you're shit. I'm like, but I'm on a yacht with 8 birds. What are you doing? You're in your bedroom telling me I'm shit.
Yeah, not bad. Not a bad response.
Yeah.
That's quite a good way to end it, though. Joe, I do really appreciate you giving me your time. So thank you. It means
All
does
right,
mean a lot as always.
all right. Take care, Fred. See you, mate.